Fall at Equestria, The Crystal's Howling Dance. By Megaskullmon. Read by Forrest M. Chapter 1. The Journey.
A journey starts but with just a step, and then a thought.
50 years have passed since the Vulcan have left the lab, but they wished to not explain to the young about things such as this, so they created a story about how the Howling Dance created them, how the Howling Dance made them be guardians of Equestria and protect the ponies of the world. But then the Howling Dance told them to go underground and cause wars with their own species. It's a sad thing from what happened to guardians to being just like the ones that created them, becoming petty and full of hate and anger. They set their young to different jobs and duties. The weaker ones were meant to be hunters or medical. The medium were meant to be breeders and pointless fodder, males and females. The larger warriors, they used some magic, but that was kept for the medical and the hunters. The warriors were sent out to take care of what they called issues. They had different branches of warriors. Warriors of the moon were meant to be the ones you sent out to die. Warriors of the flower, ones that protected the young. Warriors of the sun, ones that protect the elders and the entire den. It was easy to keep them in line. Some of the warriors had been trained at birth, taken from their parents and trained to be relentless killing machines. They weren't allowed to breed because there was too many of their species. They were considered too stupid and too worthless to breed and just used as protection. But of course, the elders were to thank for this. They did everything to try to control their packs, and they were considered the leaders of each pack. They wrote the laws in scrolls and books. They refused to let their species to know about the truth of what happened and how they were created. It would cause the rest to kill them and find the truth. They had many interesting rooms in their little den, that is in a cave in a mountainside in Shattered Hoof. One cave was meant to house their medieval-like weapons and armor. They have never seen guns in their lives. Next to a blacksmith that seemed to work near a makeshift forge and anvil. He would create weapons and armor non-stop. Not too far was the medical wing of the den. Then a school for teaching and training. Then farther down in the den would be the places they slept. But of course, around there, the area for food. It wasn't much, but to them, it was home. But soon, much of this would change. It would cause a giant stir that all the Vulcan race would soon be dead or alive. We come to the story of our hero. Yes, to her, she wasn't much of a hero, just a warrior, fully trained and standing guard during a teaching of the young ones. The elder was teaching today, and he was speaking of how the Howling Dance gave them life, having to keep up the lie after all. Of course, soon this was all about to change, a change that won't come easy. Day 1, Vulcan Lair. I leaned against the wall of the school. I kept my eyes closed, calmly snoring. Nothing ever happens during the teachings, so I doubt they would care if I slept some, of course. I, for one, am larger than most Vulcan warriors, and I need my beauty sleep after all, damn it. I'm 20 years of age to be a full-fledged warrior. But yes, I was told I'm so much like my mother. She left because of a journey she wished to do. I, for one, was left to the cold, so I had to raise myself. I do miss my mother. I wish I could have seen her off. But yes, here I am, enjoying... Smack! A staff suddenly hit my head so hard I could barely stay standing, and fell on my ass and rubbed my head and looked up growling and saying in great anger,
"Who the fuck?"
I looked up, seeing the elder, and stood back up, bowing in respect. The elder shook his head and stared at me with great disappointment. I stood back up fully after the bow and smiled weakly.
"Turia, you know better than sleeping during a teaching. You, young lady, need to learn manners."
Now it's time for your graduation to be a full warrior. You better get your ass there, child," the elder said as he walked off using the staff to lean on it. Of course, he mostly used it to hit those misbehaving on the head, like me. Ow. Rushing towards the training room, I stood beside the others that were meant to be warriors. Of course, I was bigger than them all, and stronger. Many considered me a freak, so I didn't have many friends in the long run. My trainer, a very kind male named Bloodclaw. Of course, it had nothing to do with the blood stained always on his claws, but he came up to everyone and gave them a sword that had the symbol of what kind of warrior they are. I was given a sword that had a crescent half-moon on it, so I am a warrior of the moon. We had none of our family here or friends. It was just the trainer and his warriors. I watched him as he asked the others to go and me to stay. He looked at me with great disappointment, then shook his head. "If your mother was here, she would have been happy for you. Normally, it's rare for our kind to mate, but I loved your mother. She meant the world to me. Remember, she betrayed us to leave on that foolish journey into the waste. Now, daughter, go get some rest. You have earned it. And remember, I may be your father, but it's not my code to accept you as mine. So please, get out of my sight, moon trash." My ears pinned themselves to the back of my head at hearing this. Yes, he had the right to do this if our parents disliked a pup they could disown. But being so used to disappointment, it didn't bother me so much anymore. I followed the path to my place of sleep, looking around the halls, seeing the trophies of the other warriors that lived through their times in the waste. As for me, I didn't have the right to go out there. I was too much of a problem to them. I went to my room, nothing fancy. A weapons rack for all the weapons I had collected, a crossbow and bolts, a mace with spikes on it, a large hammer, and a sword and shield. My bed made of a large slab of stone. Other beds, for those they cared about, were made of something softer, but I was considered the daughter of a traitor. I calmly looked around my room, feeling there could be better than here, but I didn't wish to sleep yet. But if they said it was time to sleep, then it was time. I lied down on my bed, and it felt so awful and painful. But they said, of course, it's meant to make you stronger. I calmly fell asleep and slept till it was time to wake. Day 2. A rude awakening. I woke up in the elder's room, chained to the wall and looking around with a blink. I didn't see the elder, but it seemed whoever brought me here was still here. I looked over to see his bodyguard. Having great anger in my eyes, I gave him a death stare. Oh goddess, I wish I had magic beam eyes. He looked back at me with a laugh and rolled his own eyes. Stepping by to let the elder come in, and he looked at me blinking. "I asked you to bring her to me, not chain her to a wall." The bodyguard shrugged and laughed softly. He sighed and came over to me to help me down, and the elder smiled calmly. "Sorry about that, Turia. It seems you being a moon warrior gave him the right to treat you this way. Now, we need to speak." He looked towards his bodyguard, and the guard nodded, leaving. I got back onto my feet, looking to the elder, giving a very angered look at him, as I leaned on the wall, crossing my arms with great anger. But I calmed down after a while, and nodded.
"Why am I here?"
The elder looked back to me and sighed softly, and nodded. "It's about your mother. She didn't just go on a journey. She was sent to search for the Howling dance." My eyes went wide as I looked towards him and thought he was lying to me. Searching for the Howling dance? The crystal that created us? That's like being sent out to die. After being sent out to die if the pack didn't care for you. I wondered why my mother would do it willingly. It's also thought that the warriors placed them in harsh places.
What? Am I being sent out to find her, or something else?
The elder looked to me with great sadness. I'm sorry to say, Turia, you are being sent out to be an exile. If you find the moon, bring it back. If you do bring it back, you will get your right to be part of us again. But sadly, Turia, I had many talks with those that trained you. They don't wish you to be here anymore. But you have 2 days to say goodbye to those that care about you. I know it's not many, but it's the least I could do. I had tears forming in my eyes, looking up calmly to the elder, giving a weak nod. Slowly leaving and walking through the halls, I figured when I fully became a warrior, I would lose everything, even my home. I just stared at the rocky ground as I walked slowly back to my room. Like he told me, and was right, I barely have any friends. I'm considered an outcast because of my mother, disowned by my father too? Holy shit, what could happen to me next? The moon falling out of the sky and hitting me for being stupid? But I kept walking, and I was given 2 days to say goodbye to my friends. When I got to my room, I placed all my armor and weapons on my bed, getting everything ready ahead of time before I head out. Then walked to meet my friends. It was time that we normally got together. I was friends with a female that was a breeder stock, a hunter, and a crazy insane nut. I was walking along the path and getting nasty looks, just because of being a warrior of the moon. I could take them on easy for the training, but I had no right to fight them. I would be told that they have every right to kill me. 2 days, and I would be an exile in a new world. I found my 3 friends, smiling softly, watching them speak. They're mostly exiles as well. Calmly, I walked over to them and smiled. Then they gave me nasty looks as well, my ears pinned to the back of my head.
So, I take it you 3 want nothing to do with me either. I understand.
I turned around and walked away. It seems word got out about what my mother did. I'm getting so tired of this. 2 days couldn't come sooner. I walked back to my room and sat down. It seems that my kind's ways are getting to them all. I gathered my armor and placed it on me, gathered my weapons and my bags, getting ready to leave in the next 2 days, also to protect myself, just in case. I held out my sword while I walked through the den. It was time to eat, so when I went to the Hall of Eating, what a name, the Hall of Eating, I sat on the stone benches that had the stone table. There was a crazy amount of food. They allowed me to eat, of course, which was impressive. Also, I was getting nasty looks. I looked back at them, giving them hateful blue-eyed stares. Eating slowly, I watched them all talk to each other. It was a bit of a silly thing to see my own kind acting like children. Slowly, I stood up after I finished eating, looking over to them calmly. Slowly, I walked back to my room to stay there until tomorrow. I learned that the ponies of this world never treated each other this way. But of course, I was stopped by 2 males that wanted to pick a fight with me. 2 other warriors.
Look, I don't want to hurt any of my own pack, so back off. Right now.
The 2 looked at each other. They didn't know I was trained to be ruthless. I don't give mercy, and never would. I pulled out the giant broadsword, the sword gleaming calmly, holding the blade in one paw-like hand.
Again. Let me go back to my room to rest. I will tell you again. Don't fuck with me, or I will fuck with you. So please, back off before we both regret something.
The 2 males looked at each other, slowly backing away as I stared darkly at both of them, my eyes staring at them and showing my anger. It was known that I may haven't been smart or a quick thinker, but I knew how to scare others. Looking around every turn now of the den, walking slowly back to my room. I made it back to the room and sat in the stone back, the armor making soft scraping sounds. Day 3. One more day till I'm forced to leave. I woke back up, looking around. It seems it was calm again. Slowly, I stood up and heard a sword swing. Grabbing my own, I blocked the attack. It was my trainer. I stared at him with much anger in my eyes.
I have one more day to go. Now all of you wish to kill me? What the living hell did I do to you folks?
The large male set down the sword and gave me a look, tilting his head. Nothing really, Turia. You're just kind of pissed off the Elder. I don't understand why, but he seems he's making up stories. I came to tell you. You better get going soon, because the Elder told everyone about what your mother did. So, I would say it's wise to remove yourself. I blinked and looked at him calmly.
Why are you helping me then? I thought I was a threat to you.
The large male shrugs and smiles. I felt I had to. Anyway, the guards are changing their post right now. So it would be extremely wise to get going. I gave him a calm nod and slowly snuck out of my room. It's hard to sneak with all this on me, but I didn't wish to kill any of my species. So I kept a tight hold on my sword. It seems the halls were empty. It's odd. Normally it's not this empty. With one step after another, I got closer to the way out, looking around to see if the guards were around or not. Slowly, I made it to the way out, and then I heard the sound of swords behind me and turned around, seeing the Elder with many of our warriors.
What now? Are you going to kill me? I'm going, and now you wish for me to hurt you?
My blue eyes stared with my anger at the Elder and the warriors, holding my sword tightly in my paw, and it glowed calmly. Looking towards the way out, leading to Shattered Hoof, then looking back to the Elder, and held the sword tightly.
I am leaving. I won't return unless I find all the crystals.
The Elder sighs and looks towards the other warriors, lifting his staff and aims it at me. The warriors lowered their swords as the Elder spoke. If you wish to find the moon, you will be welcomed back. But if you don't, find friends out there and make a life for yourself. I wish you happy, Turia. You really didn't deserve this treatment, but you have become a problem. You don't follow the way things are done. You had to be just like your mother. So please, child, any friend you meet, protect them as much as you can. I blinked. Make a life for myself and make friends. In a wasteland full of nothing but the waste? Giving a nod calmly, I walked into the tunnel leading to the surface and out of the cave. Same day, Shattered Hoof. Fully outside of the cave, I turned to the guard. They gave me a look, and then I looked up. It's fully cloudy, and I can see the sunshine behind it, but it seems the clouds will never move. Sighing softly, I walked through the land. Looking up, finding a strange flying-like wagon, crashed and shattered into the side of the mountain. I calmly walked to it and looked through some boxes. The boxes seemed to be fine. They were full of books. I pulled out a book based on the 6 mayors 2 princesses of the past and another on ministries that the 6 mayors controlled. I placed both books in my bags and kept looking through, finding a strange drink called Sparkle Cola. I opened the drink, and, as I wolf, I sniffed it. A blink came over my eyes slowly as I drank. It tasted like carrots? Must be something from the pre-war times. I drank the rest of it and looked to see if there was any more. But nope, it seems there was nothing else. Slowly, I walked away from what it seemed to be a flying wagon, heading more into Shattered Hoof. Looking around calmly, this world was so much different to me. Seeing how I lived underground all my life, and to seeing this. Then I looked up, seeing a raven with red eyes staring at me. But I looked away from it. I kept walking towards the west and heard strange sounds and hid behind a rock. I looked up, seeing ponies dressed in strange armor, and they had strange weapons. I watched the 5 strange ponies, A stallion that had a machine gun strapped to his side. Seems to be a dirt brown earth pony. Then next to him, a blue unicorn mare. Seemed to have a shotgun hover beside her. Another yellow earth pony mare holding a hammer in her mouth. A purple earth mare holding an axe in her mouth. Then another unicorn that seemed pure blood red, with a strange machine gun that seemed to be scoped. I kept hiding behind the rock, listening to them.
So, why are we here in the middle of nowhere waiting for griffins?
The yellow mare said, while sitting next to her hammer, looking towards the stallion, who gave a shrug of his shoulders. Don't really know. Don't care either. I want to get this done and get back. I kept watching calmly, seeing that one of them is now missing. It seems the missing one is the blue mare. What happened to Blueberry? Did she find another traitor to kill again? Suddenly, I felt something poking my head and turned to see the barrels of a shotgun. Then looked to the mare, my eyes full of anger, as she yelled out,
Hey, I found a new toy!
I come out from behind the rock with the gun poking in my back, standing there, looking at them.
Maybe we can rape her and then force her to run,
the blue mare said with a giddy laugh. My eyes went wide to the word rape. To my species, that word is something that shouldn't be said. I just stood there, waiting for the right time. The stallion looked at me and chuckled. In due time. But first, let's see if this retarded creature can speak, so we know we're hurting someone smart. I looked up, full of anger. I smile softly, showing my sharp teeth.
A stallion wishing to fuck me. Ah, can you get no females?
The three mares giggle as they seem to love that.
Trust me, I could find better than you, stallion. And another thing, don't fuck with me. If you fuck with me...
I showed my teeth and smirked, my blue eyes glowing darkly.
I will kill you and enjoy every moment. First, you insult me. Then, threatened me with rape. Are you ponies brain dead?
They looked at me with so much anger. Of course, being me, I kept taunting them over and over.
Are you really that stupid? Come on, I'm not even something you can rape, child.
The blue mare was getting very angry, and she cocked her shotgun and aimed it right at my head.
You fucking whore! How dare you insult us!
My ears flick as I hear the trigger move, quickly moving and grabbing onto the shotgun as she shoots, missing me. Then, I grabbed the shotgun again, seeing how it's used now, punching the blue mare in the face twice. Her magic dropped the gun. I took it quickly, aimed, and fired. But I fired in her chest. I didn't wish to kill anyone. Not yet anyway, of course.
Again, are you going to fuck with me?
But of course, I didn't realize. I looked down to the mare, her heart hanging out of a giant blasted hole. It kept beating, and then slowly stopped. Then, I looked up with a smile, shrugging.
Oops.
I gave a loud laugh, dropping the shotgun to the ground, and then grabbed my sword. I figured my armor wouldn't protect me from bullets. Lifting the sword up, I stared calmly at them, waiting to see what they will... Lifting the sword up and staring calmly at them, I waited to see what they will do. The stallion looked towards the other two earth mares holding weapons in their mouths. You two, go avenge her. Blinking and thinking to myself,
Are they this stupid? Really? Sending two after a creature that fought her whole life. Really? Two? Why not all of you at once?
Then I would fully regret saying that as a sniper bullet went through my arm. I rushed behind a rock quickly as the other two shot at me. Then saw the two mares with weapons. When they started to swing at me, I blocked them. I looked for a way to get them off their hooves. With my left foot, I made a sweep kick. The two mares fell onto their chest, and I quickly stabbed into the yellow mare, my sword getting stuck into the ground, and she didn't breathe, and she couldn't breathe so easily. I watched her slowly die. I picked up the other mare and used her as a shield. lifted her up, and waited to see if they would shoot. Then I heard many shots of the machine gun and the sniper. The mare was ripped apart, with some bullets getting lodged in her, but the sniper bullet breaking through the ribcage and stomach. Her stomach and intestines fell out as the bullets made it through to me. I fell to my knees, dropping her as she was dead instantly. I kneeled in pain, blood draining from many wounds. Some of my armor melted a bit from the heat of the bullets. They came over to me and put their guns to my head. The stallion said angrily, "You just had to fuck with us." They both looked up, seeing a griffin land. "Hold on, we'll have to deal with..." I had my chance to get them with the blood spilling from my wounds. It made the adrenaline fill my body. I stabbed my sharp claws into the stallion's neck and into the mare's chest, tossing the mare away. She was still alive, of course. As I grabbed the stallion and lifted him up, he was gasping for air.
"You fucked with me."
Then, with great anger, I smashed him into the rock I hid behind, his bones smashing most of them, forcing themselves out of his body. I panted hard in great anger. Looking towards the mare who was scared to death, I no longer cared if she lived or died. But she would fuck with me later. I grabbed my mace. It seemed the griffin just watched, then fired a few bullets to stop me at my feet, looking over as the mare was already in enough pain. Seeing she has too much pain to use her magic. I looked over to the griffin while holding my mace.
"So, are we gonna try to kill each other?"
The griffin just gave me a smile as I heard a shot and felt strange needles hit my neck. It started making me angry. I charged at him as he stood there, more needles forcing themselves into me. Then I passed out, knocked out as the griffin had 2 more land beside him. I reached up as my vision went dark. Welcome to the life of a Vulcan. What a life it is.